Welcome back. Another episode of Martin James Designs. This is episode 2 of the Outlaw build. So we got the rims powder coated. All the parts have arrived. And today I'm going to start the mock-up on the peanut tank. Get the bars put on and risers. Everything's going to be mocked up so we can get everything looking the way it needs to be before I strip the bike down and we can start paint and powder coat. So I'm waiting for the parts to make the rims work from the 93 Sporty from Vulcan Industries. So I can't get the wheels mocked up quite yet. So I'm just gonna wait for those parts to show up. And in the meantime, we're gonna work on the tins. So I'll show you guys the parts. So I bought a stock bobber fender here. It's gonna need some body work, Bondo and stuff, but I'm gonna be chopping all this up. And we're going to be cutting the struts down. So this is going to go here, but I need the rear tire to get that set the way we want it. And then the XL 1200s come with the bigger tanks, and I've gone and ordered a stock 48 peanut tank. So it's a lot of a slimmer line. You lose a little bit of fuel, but I mean, we are going for a specific look. So it's nice too. It needs some body work as well. But for the most part, it's nice to start with bare metal. So I'm gonna work on that. Then I'm gonna pull the whole front handlebars and everything down. We're gonna put new risers on, new straight bars, drag bars, RZ bars. I got both, but I'm not sure what ones we wanna use. So that's what I'm gonna get going on to start. Also want to point out that I'm gonna need to relocate the Speedo here because with the new risers and drag bars in the peanut tank, this Speedo's facing the wrong direction. It would probably be best if it was up high, but it'll also still look a bit funny. So my plan is to try to keep the gauge cluster here on the triple tree or on the bar clamp. I have another one, and then we're gonna use a relocation kit and put the Speedo down here by the forks. Okay, quick update. Front controls, handlebars, everything's stripped down. All the wiring harnesses are disconnected. So I'll show you what I'm gonna start mocking up now. Got some bins going on. Those are decent parts, but we're not gonna be using them. These are all the parts we're gonna be using, but don't need to powder coat or paint. This is all the stuff that I won't be using anymore. We don't need for this bike. Here's some of our parts. I'm going to be grabbing the risers and the relocation gauge. We're going to start mocking these up, and I have 2 sets of bars. I have these brand new TC Bros drag bars, and I have these Z bars. The problem with these are they're 7/8. They need to be sandblasted, put adapters on. Actually, to be honest, I don't think these are going to work. And I'm not too sure if they're going to fit the style of the bike. So my plan right now is to start with these TC Bro drag bars. Here they are. They're really nice. These are good quality ones too. Some of the cheap ones on Amazon, like those Z bars, I'm just not really sold on. But as basic as these are, you can totally tell they're better quality. So we're gonna mock these bars up, and we're gonna mock the peanut tank up and see how everything's looking. Okay, so I think the bars look best when they're facing down. These don't have drill holes to feed or hide the wires, but that's actually okay in this scenario because it's such a short run back to the harness, and I have the ability to adjust these bars in any direction he wants. If I drill holes to feed the wires through the bars, then we're kind of limited to where the hand controls are gonna go. So I think I'm gonna make that look as clean as possible. Now that we're gonna relocate the Speedo down here, I'm looking at this. This is the stock cover, and this is the gauge cluster, and it like fits pretty good in there. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rivet some metal this shape here and cut it out and build this out so it's flush with the neck of the triple tree. And then this should be able to sit nicely in there like that. So he can still have his gauges all clean and hidden up front, and then he can have a Speedo down there. So that's the plan. I don't know if I'm going to get to it right now, but I'm going to work on that. I also am going to lift this tank and see if I like it with a 2-inch tank raise or not, but that's super simple. There's just a bracket that sits here that just lifts it up. It'll actually make the tank a little higher than the bars, which is a pretty cool look, especially with the drag bar. So I'll test that out as well. Just got some cardboard here. I'm going to try to draw a little template, see if this works. So that essentially, that's going to be the template. I'll rivet the metal through this bracket, and then I can cut out the gauge cluster that will pop in there, and then the wire will hide itself there behind the headlight. Okay, I just mocked the tank raise up. This is just an old one missing pieces. It actually is for a Dyna, so it doesn't work with the Sporty, but it is a 2-inch raise. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'm kind of digging the lift. I think it's gonna look cool. You'll be over top of the bike, more leaning like a cafe racer style. Here, Terrence wanted to go with a kind of cool concept. It's an off-road Jeep light, all yellow. The bike is going to be metallic gray and bronze. So actually, I think the headlight is going to look really cool. I got to custom make all of this to fit because the brackets, it's a little too wide. So I'm going to mock this up and mock the Speedo relocation and rivet that. So that's the next steps. Okay, this is a 7-inch light and it's got this big massive bracket on it. It's just going to look goofy trying to fit that on the 39mm front end. I'm going to try to make my own bracket. I'm gonna grab some metal, shape it around this, weld up a bracket, and see if I can get it cleaned up a little bit. Okay, I got the tires put on the rims at a local shop here. I picked up a brand new Metzler Marathon front tire. It's a 110, it's the widest tire I could get on this front end. Trying to give it more of like a 48 look with the peanut tank and the wide front tire, but we're also going with a bigger rim. So it's gonna be a mixture of a 1200 and a 48 kind of my own style version of it. So I'll show you where we're at. So you can tell how wide that tire is. It's gonna fit perfect. It's the widest we could get. It's gonna look awesome with the headlight, handlebars. Then there's the rims. It's gonna look so good with everything blacked out, white lettering. I'm gonna white letter the Marathon and the Metzler, and I got the rear tires matching. I basically ordered the front tire in the size I wanted to match the rear. So when I white letter everything, it's gonna look the same. I can't do anything with the rear fender yet or the struts until I get these Vulcan Industries bearings, concealed bearing kit and axle. So I'm waiting for that. And once I do that, then I can set where the fender is gonna go, can start relocating electrical, start getting all the parts powder coated, things like that. So other than that, the only other thing I'm doing on this episode is I'm gonna weld up a bracket or manufacture one. I don't know how I'm gonna do it yet, coming off the lift of the tank for the Speedo. So I'm gonna make sure that's all set up nice so we can see it still. So we'll have the Speedo down here. We'll have the gauges up here. Everything's clean, lights clean. I'm gonna keep it as clean on the front end as possible. So I'm gonna go with a concealed gas cap too, hoping to find one of those. And we're gonna put a oil gauge on the actual oil cap. So we'll be able to see that as well. Okay, what I've done, I used an existing Speedo relocation piece, just the housing. And then this is from a Signal chrome adapter on the front end of a Dyna. And this is just a tank raise. So what I've done is I've put a rubber bushing on the backside here and on that backside as well to help with vibration. And then I've used a sleeve, a metal spacer, with the bolt on the backside of this threaded into the housing. So now that's solid, and I had extra rubber bushings here, but it was just still moving the housing. So the bushings connected to the mount here should help with the vibration. I won't know till the bike's running, so I can adjust it then. But this is exactly the perfect distance down. You can still see the Speedo right up here from the rider's view, and it's still nice and tight, so it's not too bulky, not sitting out of the way, or way out there, I should say. See, it's a nice clean distance. So I'm pretty happy with that. Obviously, I'm going to powder coat all of these black. So it's going to look like all one piece. It's going to look nice and clean. But that's, yeah, this is how I'm going to keep that. And then I should still be able to keep the original ignition and coil and everything to fill this gap up here. And then I'll tuck all these wires up high through the tank. So once the controls are in, everything are on, it'll be nice and clean in here. All right, that is it for episode 2. We have the light fabrication done of the whole front end, the speedo relocated, the peanut tanks on with the tank raise, hand control, or sorry, the handlebars are all wrapped up. The rims and tires are mocked up, and the next step is going to be to work the rear end, get the rims and tires installed, and strip this thing down, all of the parts, and start powder coating. So I hope you guys have been enjoying this one so far. This bike is going to be a huge transformation. It might be hard to tell now, but I'm stoked. This one's going to look really good. So yeah, make sure you guys subscribe if you want to follow the rest of this build, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.